Welcome back to this week's edition of The Forum. My name is Dave McMenamin. I'm here joined by my colleague Arash Markazi of ESPNLA.com. We want to get into the NBA Finals, given the Spurs their 5th NBA championship, and of course the Lakers are stuck at 16. Not a bad place to be stuck at, mind you. But what lessons do you think the Lakers can take from this San Antonio Spurs team and perhaps, apply it moving forward this summer? Of course, the Lakers have all that cap space. They have 12 other 15 players on their roster set to become a free agent. How can they model themselves like the Spurs, Arash?
It's easier said than done, Dave, but consistency. Pick a coach, pick a system, pick a style, and stick with it. I mean, the reason it's simpler said than done is you can't do it for 16 years, but that's what the San Antonio Spurs have done. They've stick with the same coach, the same core group, and that's what this team has to do. When you pick a coach, think long term. You can't pick a coach thinking he's going to be our coach for 2 years. Think of your coach, perhaps he might be here for 10 years, and stick with that system. That is so important, I think.
Yeah, and you look at the Lakers, they have not shown loyalty to their head coach recent years. Mike Brown barely made it through a season, 71 games, fired after 5 games in his second year. Mike D'Antoni took over without a training camp, without a team full of a staff, a coaching staff of his hand selection. Goes into the second year, has pervasive injuries to the roster, and doesn't get another chance after that. So I think that's a great point to make. I'd like just the way the Spurs play the game, though. Yeah. I think you look at their roster, they have so much depth. They have 11 guys who can contribute any given night. It's not, a lot of teams have 15 guys on the team, but they have guys who can contribute. And the way they've been able to do that, of course, is their superstars taking pay cuts. Tim Duncan back in the $10 million range. Yeah. Kobe Bryant at a similar stage of his career re-upped for $48.5 million over 2 years. I think had that been different, had Kobe thought a little bit more long-term with that deal, and of course I understand in the coffers, in the terms of jersey sales and everything like that, he earns that money. Yeah. But he probably had some better pieces around him moving forward.
When Kobe was a free agent, or he could have been, that was the model people said. He should do the Tim Duncan deal. Do that deal. Perhaps they could make a run at LeBron or Carmelo or someone, or perhaps you can get 2 players like that. When he signed a 2-year, $50 million deal, we basically said, well, that's interesting. Why would the team do that? Right. Why would Kobe accept a deal like that? And again, that's why that's a unique system they have with the Spurs. They love playing for Pop. Pop loves being there with them. Again, same core group for over 10 years. They've been together since 2002. Tim Duncan and Pop since 1999. Yeah. So you can put that system in place and hope it works out, but my goodness, it is so rare.
I'd also like to see them add some shooters. I mean, it's a simple part of basketball. And you look at San Antonio with the guys they have out there, Manu hitting from the outside, and you bringing in guys like Patty Mills, who had 4 3-pointers in the third quarter of Game 5 in the closeout game. You have guys like Marco Bellinelli, who won the 3-point contest. I think that takes so much pressure off your offense because you can space the floor. And if you have somebody who the defense has to pay attention to, has to be honest, they can't always double and triple team your best players, i.e. Kobe, i.e. Kobe, who's going to be 36 next year, coming off 2 major injuries. Give him some pieces, and maybe they did that. Maybe Ryan Kelly can be a guy. He got him in the second round last year. He showed some potential, but I'd say get Kobe on the court with at least 2 shooters at any time, so you have court spacing and openness for him to kind of do what he does.
And the great thing about that, Pop gives those guys the green light to shoot, and he gets upset with them when they don't shoot. There is a system in place, and he goes, listen, the reason you're here is to shoot that shot. And when you have that confidence coming from a coach, and a coach like that, that's the one thing that I think you would want a coach like Pop. Again, hard to get. That's why you had Phil, and that was great. But when you have a coach that players respect, and they know if they trust that system and they buy into that system, that they'll win, that's great. I don't think they've had that here the past couple of years.
Player development, too. Danny Green got better. And I think those are many lessons that the Lakers can certainly learn and look forward to down the line if they pay a little bit more attention to what R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich are doing in San Antonio. For Arash Markazi, I'm Dave McMenamin. Thank you for tuning in to The Forum. We'll see you here next week.